everybody, I'm Bill Whittle, and this is part 2 of our 3-part trifecta on feminism in America today. Now, in part 1, we looked at the reason for the existence of the feminist movement. That, of course, is the election of Hillary Clinton. In the members-only part 3, we're going to look at some particularly egregious examples of feral feminism out there in the wild. But today, we're going to take a peek at what can only be called the war on boys. So joining me now to pry insights from the darkness with the candy bar of truth are two guest hosts here on Trifecta today. Sitting in for the incapacitated Steve Green is Michelle Fields, and for the capacitated but still in motion Scott Ott, our own Stephen Kruiser, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, gang. So my question, ladies and germs, is modern feminism in fact a war on men? If you want to make the case, let's go to the charming Valerie Solanas, feminist saint and author of the Scum Manifesto. That's likely short for the Society for Cutting Up Men. Here's a quote from her that's charming and attractive. "The male is a biological accident. The Y male gene is an incomplete X female gene. That is, it has an incomplete set of chromosomes. In other words, the male is an incomplete female, a walking abortion, aborted at the gene stage. To be male is to be deficient, emotionally limited. Maleness is a deficiency disease, and males are emotional cripples." Oh, Steve. Sounds to me like she just hasn't been serving her fellow the right brand of coffee. But this attitude that boys are somehow defective girls is being pushed very hard these days and very early, isn't it?
But not just defective, we're evil, too, remember. We come out evil. We're born wholly evil, violent, and defective. And if she had just kept it with emotionally cripple, I might have gone with her. You know, she might have picked up an ally from the other side, Bill. But because I know sometimes I might not always understand. What's that?
I said it's a blessing being emotionally crippled. Sorry.
I'm a big fan of it. I mean, the fewer feelings, the better. It's why I watch Jason Statham movies. But this notion that we're inherently evil is what bothers me the most. That we not only come out defective. She's trying to deny nature. She's trying to. It's the Darwinists are the ones who are refuting all of the tenets in each gender that made Darwinism possible for the survival of the fittest. That's the thing here. They're science lovers of convenience. So, we evolved, we did this, we did that, but we evolved because men did a certain thing and women did a certain thing, and each one did them very well. And they were very different. And now they want to blur all of that, but still claim that they're all big, evolutionists and Darwinists, which is absolutely ridiculous. We're not defective. We're different. They don't want to say different. They want this homogenous garbage that doesn't exist, and they can keep forcing it forever. And in the end, it will be the reverse Darwinism undoing of the society.
Science lovers of convenience. Maybe we should just put that on the tombstone of the left in the middle of all the smoking wreckage that'll be left when they're gone. Now, Michelle, maybe this is just blindness on the part of Steve and I with our defective Y chromosomes. Aren't we, and when I say we, I mean Steve, really just being a bunch of whiny crybabies? And isn't a nation of pajama boys, well, is that a bad thing? Think of all of those employed in the footy industry, for example.
Well, the left constantly talks about this war on women, but I'd argue that there's a war on boys right now, especially young boys. If you look at the graduation rates of young women, women are more likely to graduate high school, more likely to go to college. They're more likely to be employed, more likely to not be underemployed. Whereas if you look at men, they're struggling. They're unemployed. Many of them aren't going to college. Many of them are living at home in their mom's basements. And I think a lot of it has to do with this these feminist ideas. We are the first society. If you look at the history of the human race, every society, unfortunately, has always valued men over women. And I think we are about to be the first society that actually values women over men, which I think is a bad thing. I mean, we should just treat each other as equals, but I think oftentimes the left wants to treat men as though they're inferior, which is not the case.
Treat each other as equals. There's an interesting thought. Well, folks, this is happening, and it's not a joke. Young boys are being told a lot of things that don't make sense to them. Why don't you share more? Why are you so active? Just sit down. What are you looking out that window all the time? Why don't you talk more about your feelings? Now, many radical feminists like Valerie Solanas genuinely want to exterminate men. I know that's an extreme case, but unfortunately, it's against the law. I looked it up. So, for these radical feminists, if they can't exterminate everything they hate about men, they will exterminate manhood instead. And we'll all be left with Pajama Boy in the hopes that this quiet, docile, peaceful male will sit still and behave himself and also provide foot rubs, but only if we're in the mood. Now, unfortunately for them and us, the only way to keep women physically safe is not through the elimination of men. There will always be bad men, and the only defense against bad men is good men. Maybe we should try growing some more of those. We used to have a bumper crop of the best in breed right here in the USA for, I don't know, a couple centuries or so. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.